Mischievous Kitties, the Mischievous Master. Almost every day, like clockwork, owner leaves the house for several hours during the day, but is back home by nighttime. Left alone, the kitties try very hard to get along and stay out of trouble. Rarely do they succeed at both of these objectives at the same time. Today was no exception. Mocha and Cream were chilling on a pillow, Peaches was cleaning breakfast off of her and Mr. Fluffles, and Jewel was cleaning behind her ears and straightening up her bow. All the kitties were finding spots in the living room and sunroom so they could have a good, happy post-breakfast nap. All the kitties, except for Pepper. Pepper was walking in and out of the rooms, aimlessly. After walking past the sleeping kitty several times, Peaches finally said something. "Will you sit somewhere, please?" she asked, frustrated. "I will, as soon as I find something to do," Pepper snapped back. "Until then, pacing is the only option." "Well, if you must pace, will you pace upstairs on the carpet? Your nails clicking on the wood is keeping us up," Peaches requested. "Oh, sure," Pepper sneered. "Like there's anything fun to do upstairs." "What's wrong?" Mr. Fluffles sleepily asked. "I'm bored. I want to do something fun," Pepper yowled. Peaches rolled her eyes. "There are plenty of toys laying around. You can rest, take a nap." "But I'm not sleepy," he stretched out and mewed. "And all those toys are boring. Owner always throws away the best boxes." "Yeah, I agree with that," Mr. Fluffles mewed, earning himself a glare from Peaches. "What?" "Don't complain over silly things," Peaches hissed. "We have a good life here." Pepper rolled on the floor, stopping with his belly up. "We get it. Life is good. We need to be friends. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I don't get?" Peaches hesitated for a moment and then slowly asked, "What?" "Why am I so bored?" Pepper yelled as he stretched out his front paws and kicked his back legs. Peaches sighed in frustration and curled up around Mr. Fluffles to take a nap, making sure to answer Pepper with a sassy flick of her tail. Determined not to stay miserably bored, Pepper sought out things to entertain himself. After wandering around for who knows how long, he found himself in the kitchen. He took a little look around and all of a sudden realized that there was a door covering the space where owner kept the human food. Normally, Pepper would just ignore this insignificant door, but today he could see something brightly colored sticking out from underneath. "Ah!" Pepper whispered excitedly. "A mystery! What could it be?" He crouched down to the floor and sneakily crawled towards it. When he was a few inches away, he stretched one paw forward, and then one fluid motion, he bought the thing and jumped back quickly. It just waved at him, then went still within a few seconds. Pepper tested the door in a similar fashion, and the door refused to open. Feeling it was safe, he got closer and gave the mystery item another tap, and another, and another. He sat up even more confused. It's very stiff. Pokes my paws if I hit it at the wrong angle, and it's yellow. What could it be? What if I do this?" he thought out loud as he thrust both paws under the door. He felt his claws sink deep into the stiff, pokey thing. "Aha! Not so tough now, are ya?" He yanked his shoulders back, trying to pull it out from under the door. Whatever it was too big for the small space. So he would have to think of a different angle of attack. He unhooked all but one claw and started to panic. "You fiend! Let me go! Ha! That was your plan from the start. Clever, but not clever enough!" he shouted as he tugged, gnawed, and scratched at the door. Bracing his three other paws against the door, he finally freed his paw. He inspected the claw and was satisfied there was no permanent damage. Then he sidestepped the pokey chips of wood that now lay on the floor. "Wow, someone should really learn to clean up after themselves. Now to open your secrets," he mumbled as he inspected the door. It was really tall, with a single round metal knob. "I've seen owner open pretty easily with some twisting. Yeah, I can do that, he said with confidence. He started jumping repeatedly at the knob, catching it less often than not. He crouched down and wiggled his butt in preparation for a really big jump. He leapt in the air, wrapped both front paws around the knob. His back feet struggled for a moment, but then he secured a foothold. Satisfied with his balance, he tried twisting the knob and heard a click sound. But then the weight of his body caused the door to move backwards. Startled by the sudden motion, he jumped off, the force of his back paws slamming the door shut. When he was safely back on all fours, he surveyed his work. He sighed in frustration. He sat down and started to contemplate where he went wrong. What are you doing? Jewel asked him. Nothing, Pepper answered. It was nothing, Pepper insisted. Then what was that noise? Asked the sleepy Mr. Fluffles. Okay, Jewel said, starting to walk away. Please don't get into trouble, Pepper. You worry too much. Everything's fine, Pepper reassured her as she left the kitchen. Pepper returned his attention back to the door. Well, since I'm up, I might as well get a little snack, Mr. Fluffles said as he headed for the food bowl. Yeah, you do that, Pepper said absently, preoccupied with the door. He checked his distance and began the power crouch again. Just like his previous attempt, he was able to open the door, but this time, when he started to move backwards, he didn't jump off. This time, he jumped straight down to the floor. But he was startled almost as soon as his paws hit the floor because he heard a loud smack on the floor next to him. He sniffed a long wooden stick and followed it to the pantry where he found the source of the strange pokey thing. What was that? Mr. Fluffles asked. The food on the floor around his paws indicated that he had been startled by the wooden stick falling as well. It's okay, Pepper replied. Just the brooms, though. Oh. Why is that door open? Mr. Fluffles asked, stepping around the broom to enter the pantry. You ask too many questions, Fluff, Pepper stated as he jumped onto the shelves to investigate the human food. We shouldn't be in here, the round kitty protested. And get out, and it'll just be me, and not we. What's this? It's a red liquid. Hey, Fluff, can you read, or is that just Patch's talent? My name is Mr. Fluffles, and Peaches is the only one who can read. Now I think it's time for you to get out of there. I will when I'm done, Pepper said dismissively as he took the lid off the bottle and sniffed it. Whoa! That burns the nose. Hey, Fluff, how about you go back to your snack and forget that I'm in here, huh? He twisted the lid back on the skinny bottle and turned around, holding it tight in his front paws. But his tail knocked over a couple other bottles, which fell towards the floor. Pepper flattened his ears, waiting for a crash. But nothing happened. That was lucky, Mr. Fluffles commented. It landed on the broom, so the glass didn't break. Pepper sighed, relieved. That's good. I've always had really weird luck. He dropped down on the next shelf, and his weight shook the shelf enough to knock a can of green beans on its side, and it started rolling towards the edge. Really? Like what? Mr. Fluffles asked. Well, like, crash! Went the green beans on the glass jar of spaghetti sauce. Pepper's eyes went big and his ears laid down. Like that, he squeaked. Pepper! Jewel's voice carried from the living room. Nothing! Pepper shouted back. He jumped off onto the floor, the small bottle still secure in his front paw. Okay, I don't know about you, but I need a snack. Snack! Mr. Fluffle exclaimed. But what are you going to do about this mess? Nothing I can do. If you want to paw at the floor thinking the air will bury it, that's up to you. But Owner is the only one who can really clean it up, so might as well go on with our day. Mr. Fluffles looked in the mess, then Pepper, then back at the mess. He did try to bury it, but quickly realized that Pepper was right. Hey, Fluff, do you want a snack or not? Pepper called to him. My name is Mr. Fluffles, he angrily mumbled under his breath, and returned to the food bowl. He saw some food on the floor and licked them up in one bite, but didn't even notice the different smell in the food until it was too late. Suddenly, everything got warm really quick. Hot, tongue burning, he cried as he ran out of the kitchen, feeling like he was breathing fire. Peaches, help! Pepper rolled on the floor, laughing hard. He could hear Peaches and Jewel talking to the tuxedo kitten, and Pepper decided that he better make himself scarce. Owner was already going to yell at him about the mess in the pantry, and he didn't need an extra scolding from the two hens in the living room. He ran upstairs to the bathroom. He looked up and noticed something white hanging down against the counter wall. He jumped up on the toilet and realized he was able to reach the thing better. He sniffed it and pawed at it. When his paw touched it, it moved slightly, causing him to pull his paw back quickly. He touched it again and saw that the part that hung down moved closer to the floor. Curious, he moved it with one paw, then the other. The stuff was now on the floor, but there was still some just hanging there. He sat up and used both paws to roll the silly thing. There was no end to this stuff, until finally there was. All that was left was an empty brown roll. Pepper jumped off onto the pile of white stuff on the floor. He slipped a little and pieces of the soft paper flew into the air. He then ran out and back downstairs. He decided that having a good nap in the sun would be good for him. He walked through the living room and stopped when he noticed Peaches glaring at him. "What?" he asked innocently. "What made you think that giving him Tabasco sauce was a good idea?" she hissed. He shrugged. "It was funny." "You're going to be in so much trouble when Owner gets home and sees your mess. Wouldn't it be easier just to behave and not get into trouble?" He sighed. "Yeah, you're right," he started. She looked up at him surprised. "Really?" "Yes, there was stuff to do upstairs," he said and strode into the sunroom.